Good evening, and welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting of November 24th, 2014. And just as a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded digitally. Call the meeting to order at 7:02. And our first business is Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chairman's comments, and there are none tonight. We do have citizens' query from 7:05 to 7:15. And we have two appointments tonight, one at 7:15 with Police Chief Robert Barker to present Steve May for the position of lieutenant and Daniel Lee for a position of full-time patrolman. And another one at 7:30 with Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak to discuss the following: update on the status of town-owned open space and request for consideration to utilize MVPC local technical assistance to revise the Hounslow Hills trail maps. So, it's not even 7:05 yet, so we'll go to general business number one.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could I just ask for a moment of silence for one of our longtime residents, Charles Hardy, had passed away over the weekend, past commander of the VFW and director, and grew up in town, did a lot for the town, especially at Memorial Day services and with the flags, and I worked quite a bit with Charles. Grew up with him.
Yep.
If we could have a moment of silence.
We can have a moment of silence.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, general business number one. This is from Troop 15, Yankee Clipper Council, and it says, "Dear friend in scouting, Boy Scout Troop number 15 of Raleigh, Massachusetts is proud to announce that Eric Hoy Minthala has achieved the rank of Eagle Scout as of August 21st, 2014. I understand that you have responded in the past to such achievements through some form of recognition. Any communication from you would be presented at his Eagle Award ceremony. I would appreciate any action on your part in showing support for this young man. Please send such correspondence to George Pasanka, Scoutmaster, 1 Easy Street, Raleigh, Massachusetts."
Give your motion, Mr. Chairman, to send a letter of recognition from the
I'll
board.
second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to send a letter of recognition. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, would it be appropriate if we schedule the presentation of the proclamations, the one we did last week?
It would be,
The same
yes.
meeting?
Yeah, we could do that at the same meeting. That would be a good thing. Yeah. And as of now, citizens' query is open till 7:15. Okay, general business number 2. That is Water Department hydrant flushing schedule. Water Superintendent Mary Beth Weiser has announced the flushing of the town's hydrants. The Water Department was not able to flush the hydrants as planned last summer due to the mandatory water ban. With the ban now lifted, Superintendent Weiser has set up the schedule for hydrant flushing. The chairman will read the schedule aloud. However, residents seeking more information should contact the Water Department at 553-5191 or at www.rowleywater.com. That's www.rowleywater.com. Okay, the schedule is going to start on December 2nd from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Pingree Farm Road, Havel Street, Route 95, Main Street. December 3rd, 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Boxford, Lawrence, Newbury, Tenney, Mahaffey, and Homestead Roads. December 3rd from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Route 1, Ipswich Line, Central Street, Forest Ridge, Turcotte Drive, Box Meadow. December 4th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. Harrison, Wilkes, Cindy, and Wilson Road. December 4, 9 p.m., 2 a.m. Main Street, Ipswich Line, Newbury Line, Prospect. December 8th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. Leslie, Christopher, Kathleen, and Daniels. December 9th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m. Dodge, Emily, River's Edge, Long Hill, Weathersfield, Georgetown, Hillside. I'm assuming it's Weathersfield to the Georgetown line.
Sounds like that.
I don't know of a Georgetown Street in Rowley, so I would think it would be Weathersfield to the Georgetown line and then Hillside Street. December 10th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Weathersfield, Hillside, Route 1, Christa Drive, Farnham Road, and Brook Street. December 11th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Hillside, Weldon Farm, Glen, Central Route 1, Bennett Hill, Fenno, Central Way. December 12th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Spencer Knowles, Arthur Gordon, Wild Pasture, West Ox Pasture, Weathersfield, Route 1, Bradford, Bennett Hill. December 15th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Green Needle, Saunders, Long Meadow, Cedarwood, Stony Brook, Gerzac, and Meadows. December 16, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Weathersfield, Bradford Central, Bradford Summer, Independent, Burke, Morphew, Purley, and Merrifields. December 17th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Central, Bennett Hill to Maine, Plantation, Arbor Way, Hammond, School, and Pleasant. December 18th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Cross, Jellison, Warehouse, Ocean, Deeple Way, Railroad Avenue. December 19th, 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., Kittery, Mansion, and Bowlery. And again, if you have any questions, you can call 1-800-553-519 or visit www.rowleywater.com or www.townofrowley.net for more information. And I'm assuming, Deb, it'll probably be listed on RCM also?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion or comments? Hearing none. We can move on to new business number 1. Okay, new business number 1, Rowley Veterans Association, Inc. Liquor license, new officer director application. This item was tabled last week because we had not received a complete application. We still have not received a complete application. The Raleigh Veterans Association had originally filed a change of manager application. The Board of Selectmen approved that application on September 8th, 2014, and the application was sent to the ABCC for approval. The ABCC denied the change of manager application because it was signed by officers and directors that were not on file with the ABCC. The ABCC required that the Raleigh Veterans Association file a new officer-director application. Since we have not received a completed application from the Raleigh Veterans Association, does the board want to send a letter to them and the ABCC inquiring as to the status of the application?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would suggest that we send a letter to them and ask them to come in next week. This has been carrying on for quite a lengthy period of time, and I would request that they be here, and if in fact we do not get the application, et cetera, before our next meeting, that, I would propose that we suspend the license until they get the application in order and approved by the ABCC. It's been much too long, and we just need to
It's been well
move
over,
this forward.
well over 2 months.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, new business, discuss physical, actually,
Might as well do the appointment. Put it, I think you go with the appointment.
appointment. Yes, let's 7:15.
Since the queries are-
Yeah.
You see if they want to come in.
The time being 7:15, citizens' query has ended, and we have an appointment with Police Chief Robert Barker to present Stephen May for the position of lieutenant and Daniel Lee for position of full-time patrolman.
We have a crowd again.
Hi, Chief.
How you doing?
Hi, Chief. How are you?
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Why don't you push that door all the way open, that way people in the hallway can...
Good evening, good
Good evening, Joe, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. I prefer to stand this one. Anybody want a seat?
Has everybody made it in? That's good. We're running out of room. Okay, this is an appointment. At 7:15, Police Chief Robert Barker to present Stephen May for the position of lieutenant and Daniel Lee for the position of full-time patrolman. Chief Barker is here tonight to present Stephen May as his recommendation to be appointed to the position of lieutenant in the Raleigh Police Department. Chief Barker is also recommending that Reserve Police Officer Daniel Lee be appointed as a full-time patrolman. And this is dated November 19th, Raleigh Board of Selectmen, Town Hall, Main Street, Raleigh. Dear Honorable Board of Selectmen, the retirement of Detective Lieutenant Joseph Gamache on December 25th, 2014 will create a gap in the police department's supervisory structure. The board recognized this and allowed me to begin a process to promote an officer to the rank of lieutenant. I selected Public Safety Consultants, LLC, to conduct a promotional assessment center, which was completed on November 17th, 2014. The assessment center was comprised of written and oral assignments and role-playing exercises designed to test the candidate's abilities to manage real-life scenarios applicable to the requirements of the position. Sergeant Stephen May excelled in all the exercises, earned a high score, and the recommendation of the consultant group. Sergeant May became a reserve officer of the Raleigh Police Department in January of 1989 and was appointed to full-time patrolman in October of 1993. He served as patrolman for 9 years until he was promoted to sergeant in July of 2002. As sergeant for the last 12 years, he has served the department in many capacities. He is currently the patrol commander, training coordinator, and scheduling officer. He is a certified drug recognition expert and works as the statewide coordinator for field sobriety training for the MPTC. Sergeant May holds a master's degree in criminal justice administration from Western New England College and has received 20 department commendations and other accolades, too numerous to mention, over the course of his career. Everything about his career demonstrates his dedication to the department and establishes that he is ready to undertake the role of second in command of the police department. Sergeant May's devotion and exemplary work over the years make him a truly outstanding candidate, and I have asked that the board adopt my recommendation and promote him to the rank of lieutenant effective December 26, 2014, and expiring June 30th, 2017. Sincerely, Robert R. Barker, Chief of Police. Okay, is there any discussion? Chief, do you have anything you want to say?
I think I pretty much explained it in the letter. He did very well on the assessment center, which is the most modern way now. Everybody's doing assessment centers to test the candidate's abilities to actually do the job, as opposed to how well can they take a test. So this is the way everybody's doing it now. He did very well. The assessors were very impressed with him, and I just really can't add too much more.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that.
Steve, you really want us to do this? Okay, Guy, we're going to do it. How's that?
Thank you very much.
Motion's been made and seconded to appoint Stephen May as the new second-in-command lieutenant of the Raleigh Police Department.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My condolences, Steve.
Congratulations, Steve. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, just to congratulate the Sergeant May on his promotion, and we've seen him around town for a lot of years. He's done some great work, and as the chief's letter pretty well designated, that he certainly deserves the promotion. And we look forward to working with him and the chief as the department moves ahead.
I'll second
Years
that,
ahead.
Dave. I will second that. That's very true.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No, congratulations,
Thank you.
Steve.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Disappointed.
Okay,
The next guy's gonna be happy because you're getting promoted.
The next order of business is another letter from the police department to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen, Town Hall, Main Street, Raleigh, Mass. Dear Honorable Board of Selectmen, I hereby recommend that you appoint Daniel Lee of Byfield, Mass. To the position of full-time patrolman with the Raleigh Police Department, effective December 26, 2014, and expiring on June 30th, 2017. Daniel has served as a reserve police officer and dispatcher with the Raleigh Police Department for almost 5 years. During his tenure with the Raleigh Police Department, he has demonstrated excellence in the performance of his duties on many occasions and has proven to be a dependable and dedicated employee. During a selection process held on July of 2014, a panel of 2 chiefs and 3 sergeants from various agencies interviewed all the candidates extensively, and Daniel was recommended unanimously for the appointment as full-time patrolman. Daniel also successfully completed a physical abilities test, commencement with the entry requirements for full-time police academy. Daniel has a bachelor's degree in political science from Suffolk University and meets all the requirements of a full-time police officer except for the full-time police academy, which he must attend within 9 months of his appointment. I expect that Daniel will make an excellent full-time police officer and will serve this community in his capacity for many years. Respectfully submitted, Robert R. Baca, Chief of Police. Again, Bob?
I just want to add one thing that I didn't put in the letter here. Dan's kind of a legacy. His uncle is Gary Wood.
Ah.
A lot of you folks will remember Gary. Served in
Absolutely.
the police department for many years
Yep.
before he went to the New Hampshire State Police.
Yep.
So he's kind of one of the family already.
Already, that's right. I worked with Gary.
His grandfather also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot
Bill
about
Wood.
his grandfather.
Yeah,
Yeah,
generation.
Yep.
Grandpa
Bill Wood.
Generations. Wow.
Yeah. I was on the auxiliary at that time when I was working with Bill, and then Gary came along. We were regular part-timers. But great. Good to have you aboard.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
I'll make a motion that we hire Daniel Lee of Byfield to the position of full-time patrolman with the Raleigh Police Department effective December 26, 2014, and expiring on June 30th, 2017.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. My condolences to you also.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Thanks,
Thanks
Dan.
very much.
Yep.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Chief.
Just quickly again, Mr. Chairman, just to congratulate the candidate on behalf of the board here and welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you, a lot of you around, and your family history, we all have been associated with your your parents and grandparents and so on for a long period of time. So welcome aboard. We look forward to
Thank you
a
very much.
great career. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
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 Super.
Okay. That's it, I guess.
And I noticed Joe smiling over there.
Tell him how many days. Tell him how many days.
9 days, baby.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Ladies, folks. How you doing, Matt? Good to see you.
No offense. No offense. Hey, Matt. Take care.
Don't get lost, Joe.
I'll still be around.
Okay.
Hey, Joe. Thanks, Jack. Yeah. See you. Have a good
Okay, so we got our next appointment at 7:30, so can we go to? Somewhere I got a pen. So I don't lose anything here.
Just partway, Joe. that's all.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, maybe when on the 26th or thereabouts, because we'll probably have a sergeant too by then.
yeah,
Maybe we'll have a ceremony to
Yeah.
Yes.
join all three at one time to
Yeah.
make it kind of a nice festivity for it. So I don't know what the timing is or whatever, but maybe we could work
we
something.
can, I'm sure we could work something out.
Get the camera and get.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if we do it
Get some
during the day or
pictures.
something, you know, to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So still got 4 minutes to go. Deb, do you mind giving us an update on the Girl Scout camp?
Sure. We left it off last week. I was going to catch up with Barbara Fournier while I was in Boston on Tuesday, and I did. I got her the purchase and sale agreement. She had a board meeting at 6 o'clock. The office is in Boston. So they did sign it. I have it back. They signed the disclosure, the 40J disclosure notice. We also, last week, hired DeRosa Environmental to do the 21E. So I'm hoping that I should have the results back by the end of next week on that. And we're anticipating a closing date sometime during the week of December 15th.
Sounds good. Sounds very good.
Very good.
Any further comment from the board, or? Just give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
Actually, we could sign that contract too for the windows, and I'll probably handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we go to old business number 2, which is signed contract with AJ Wood Construction, Inc. for the Town Hall Windows project. Okay, signed contract with AJ Wood Construction, Inc. for the Town Hall windows. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to sign the contract with AJ Wood Construction, Inc. in the amount of $55,000 for the Town Hall window project. There are two originals. Okay, the contract has gone out and it's been awarded. And we just need a,
I move that we sign the contracts for AJ Wood Construction for the Town Hall window project.
Second.
okay, there's the bond, the surety bond is here. So we do have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of executing the contract with AJ Wood Company, Construction, Inc. for the Town Hall windows?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Vice President, Vice Chairman.
This for me?
Dave.
Thanks for the intro.
I might have to commit me.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. The time being 7:30, we have an appointment with Conservation Agent Brent Grayslack to discuss the following: update on the status of the town's open space plan and request for consideration to utilize MVPC local technical assistance to revising the Hunsley Hills trail map. Brent, you're on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the Board of Selectmen.
You're welcome.
I believe you were copied on a letter from the State Division of Conservation Services dated October 6th, addressed to me in regards to, short version is provisional approval of the submitted draft update of the Open Space and Recreation Plan of 2014, but with 10 different points, some of which are rather perfunctory, others which are relatively comprehensive in regards to additional data and revisions in the plan, but mainly additional data.
Okay. Is this something that we can handle in-house, Brent, or do we need to get a
I
consultant?
am going to go out on a limb here and say no, only because I utilize in my efforts at preparing the open space plan, I utilize the guidance posted on the state website, which seem to narrowly indicate that there are only certain sections that needed to be revised and updated. And even then, I requested and received some assistance by funding from the Community Preservation Committee, administrative funds that allowed me to seek the assistance of a consultant, Ms. Nellie Aikenhead.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what the total contribution of her time was, but I believe it was in excess of 20 hours, and it may have been more than that. I didn't get involved with the actual billing.
Okay.
But she was quite helpful in what we thought needed to be addressed and some data that we revised. But this list is a little bit more comprehensive and actually seems to focus on any section of the plan that provides any type of information, be it economic, population-based, density-based, or whatever, that they wish those figures to be updated as much as possible, which I can understand that perspective, and wish to basically seek authorization from the Board of Selectmen. It may be possible to apply for more CPC funds. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, I would seek the board's authorization. I kind of feel where we've gotten to the point receiving provisional approval and did what appeared to be heavy lifting of the plan to get it up to this particular point, that in case there's some grant opportunities or other qualifications that would possibly be in jeopardy without the town moving, to basically finalize the updating of the plan.
Okay. So I'm assuming this is not a, like, we gotta have it done yesterday type situation?
I'm going to say no, because I didn't really see anything in here that, established exactly when they wanted to have this been completed.
Well, it says on that first paragraph that this plan has been conditionally approved through October 2019.
19, yeah, so I would, in order to keep dealing with the same person there and possibly not
Well, I don't
get
think we
caught
should.
with any change in reviewer,
I know.
I guess I would like to proceed and possibly hope that if there was the need for additional funding, that maybe we could at least take advantage of May town meeting if that course of action needs to be adopted. But I'd like to shoot for June 30th, 2015 as us
Having it completed
finalizing
final.
and getting it wrapped up, so
Okay.
that it's basically done, available for distribution and access by other town boards, as
Yeah.
well as capable. That should coincide.
June 30th, 2015.
Yes. Did
Well,
I
if
say
we
that?
get funding at the May town meeting, there may not be enough time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the exact path is going to be for marshaling the
And-
resources
Well,
for this.
and I also think we have a new governor coming in, and the first thing they bring up is that we obviously have to update the agency names because they were from 2003, and we know when governors come in, the whole agency structure is always changed, and all the new letterhead, and so I think, when we have a new governor come in and there's new agencies maybe set up, maybe not, I don't know. Some of this stuff will be easy to correct. However, I want to point out to the board that Brent put in a lot of time in putting together that open space plan, that, he's so busy and working on so many projects at the request of the selectmen and me on stormwater, that I just feel that even having the provisional approval is a wonderful
Well, that's certainly
whole
a step
achievement,
forward.
because
Yeah.
we don't have an open space committee.
Right.
And the Concom has been graciously acting as a open space committee, so we can actually get this done. So I do think we need to have a consultant. We probably want to get some proposals in, maybe from Nellie, because she did do a lot of good work for us,
Right.
and see how
might
much it would
wanna-
cost and go and talk about funding.
We might want to run this response back in front of her just to see what her thoughts might be on it, as to what might be.
Just to interject here, I did copy her as soon as I
Okay.
received this, as well as copying
Yeah.
the appropriate boards, yourself
good.
and the commission or whatever.
Mhm.
And she immediately chimed in said that she could certainly offer
Okay,
work from that and provide a quote and seek to assist us in.
okay, that'd be good. I
She would
think,
have the expertise too.
yeah, I think we need to kind of,
She's assisted communities in creating open space recreation plans from ground zero and going to final product, so.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I know, so it basically says that they, if we put in for grants, they may be awarded, but they won't make a final payment until we complete the plan, so I don't think we have anything in the pipeline at the moment.
We don't.
So maybe if we don't come up with any funding, we could do something at the special or the annual and shoot for a fall or by the end of the year type
End of 2015.
situation, so it allows Mr. Bazelak and gives us time to hire someone, and
Yeah.
there's no rush on this, it's just a matter we need to get it done. With all the work that's been put in, we certainly don't want it to languish. And we won't suffer any ill effects if we delay it a little bit to come up with the funding or
Right.
whatever.
okay. So do you want to take a vote on that, just to say that we
What kind of
will?
a motion do you need, Deb?
Well, I think that the best thing would be to get a quote from Nellie to find out what she would, a proposal on what it's gonna cost to finish this for us.
Right,
And then we have that dollar amount, and then we can, if it's not much, perhaps the CPA administrative line, or we just wait till town meeting and put an article
Yeah.
on.
I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to ask Mr. Bazelak to pursue this and come back to us at a future meeting with any information he comes up with, and we'll.
yeah. And maybe when we talk to Nellie, we can find out about how long she thinks it would take to actually
Well, yes,
complete it.
yeah,
So,
any
yeah.
quote would not only be for the monetary, but also estimate of
Time and so forth, so
required to do that.
we can get it taken care of. Okay, is there any further discussion from the board?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much for your
Okay,
support.
thank you for all your work you've done for us, Brent. And now we need one more thing there, right? And that is a request to update the Hunsley's, actually it's Hounslow, Hills Trail Map by MVPC. The Conservation Department requested the authorization to engage the services of the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission to update the 2003 Hunsley Hills Trail Map to reflect the recently maintained, marked, and expanded trail network on the Hunsley Hill Conservation Area located at Havel Street, Map 8, Parcel Lot 2. As you may be aware, recently, through volunteer efforts and the support of the Conservation Commission providing trail markers, the trail network has been cleared and marked in its entirety, and an opportunity for new trail climbing the hill was created by utilizing an old cart path along a stone wall. Since the public is encouraged to enjoy passive recreation use of the property for hiking and natural study, I would request the Board of Selectmen permission to revise and update the 2003 trail map for purposes of public safety and outreach. Please advise me if I may be of further assistance. Brent Bazelak, Conservation Agent. Okay, is there anything you want to add, Brent?
Well, I was taken aback and a little surprised by communication that developed over the weekend when I requested an estimate from Merrimack Valley Planning Commission in regards to the local, what do they call it?
Local technical assistance.
Local technical assistance. I didn't know whether it had been communicated to the board that they've apparently revised their criteria and their director has issued some type of new guidance. I'm not sure what that guidance consists of, but I'm told that they might not accept projects or agree to do projects if they're of a small, and they didn't give me any type of
I haven't
cutoff.
seen anything on that come in
They
here.
just said that they might not allow technical assistance projects. Apparently, they may have established a minimum. There may also be a maximum. This, I'm sure, would be more of one worrying about a minimum quantity. I did reply back because this was all news to me. haven't received an estimate yet, but I did receive further guidance that then the options that would be made available would be first, if the local technical assistance that this requires would be approved, then they would do it.
Okay.
If it isn't approved as a local technical assistance project, then they would quote a price to actually do the work, but apparently bill us for whatever work was involved. And the third option would be to go seek some other independent consultant that had the skills and software able to do this.
Mm.
I'm sorry I don't have any more information, but I guess, and from the looks of the members of the board and our representative, I'm not sure that you received guidance or what this new criteria or yardstick is.
No, last Thursday night I attended the commission meeting, and I don't remember anything being brought up, addressing this issue. I will call Gerard Witten tomorrow.
Yeah, that's who I was
Oh, you talked to
emailing
Gerard?
back and
Okay.
forth. Yeah.
And if I can't get a solution, I'll go to Dennis Zaglio, okay?
Yeah.
And ask Dennis.
He indicated that it was something, Dennis is the director, correct?
Okay,
He
yes, Dennis is the
He
director.
indicated that this was something from the director.
Now, there may be something that they came up internally, but I don't recall any time last Thursday night that we discussed this. And so it may be in the works, but, all right, let me call Gerard, and then I'll call Dennis.
And I.
How many
Again,
hours, how many hours do you
Well,
estimate?
I haven't gotten an estimate from
Estimate,
them.
okay.
I've presented you with the color trail map as it exists.
Mhm.
And in the orange bands are the two significant trails. One of those is the newly established trail. Another one, the one that sort of loops from 3 to number 4, is one that was pre-existing in terms of a woods road, but I don't think it actually, the connection had been made, and in 2010, 2009 or 2010, I utilized a Boy Scout project that was willing to bridge an intermittent stream to actually establish this as being a loop trail, but it doesn't show up on the trail map. And then the orange line that proceeds from number 7 and goes to number 5, although number 5 may be blanked out by it, it goes up the hill. That's kind of a ready-made trail that I sort of discovered in doing my clearing and stuff out of there by looking down and seeing a woods road and saying, oh, I wonder where this goes. And it went kind of right up the hill through what I thought was one of the prettiest sections of Hunsley Hills, although all the areas of Hunsley Hills have very various characteristics which make it a very nice place to walk. So in a sense, this has become kind of my little pet project here, because I firmly believe that with a valuable crown jewel, or whatever type of phrase you want to use, but with such a valuable and pretty conserved area, I feel it's, in order for it to be fully utilized and enjoyed by both the public and especially the citizens of Raleigh, that it's really good for us to have a trail map that adequately reflects the trails up there. The system of marking the trails, I do have to reestablish some of the numbers. I have found, in talking to Sue Bailey, that there was a management fund account for the Hunsley Hills committee that has a balance of some monies in it, so it might be possible if we have to get involved in using that. But where Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, in working with the Open Space Committee in 2002 and 2003, created this, I thought it made the most economical sense to be revisiting them and seeking them, because they've already got it set up, they've got this stored on their computers. In fact, they were able to share this PDF with me because I actually couldn't find it on the Conservation Department's computers originally. So anyway, I just thought it would be you know, you get that close to like the end of doing a project and you just say, wouldn't it be nice if I had a nice trail map
Yeah.
to hand to somebody and go enjoy? And so with the addition of these two trails and maybe some notes that make the map a little more self-explanatory, like labeling that white band that goes through there as being the power lines, so
Yep.
it isn't a surprise when you come upon them.
Brent, how many acres is that offhand, do you know?
Oh, gosh.
I didn't mean to ask you a tough.
Wait, hold on just a second, because in part of my work, I revised the signage that we maintain in the kiosk in there, and I believe it says here, 104 acres.
Thank you.
Now, in terms of what is the conserved natural open space, it's a figure slightly less than that, because when the property was purchased, provisions were made for an easement that leaves Haverhill Street and heads up the hill and has a small rectangular area for the possible future siting of a water storage tank.
Right, right. When we had
That-
the issue.
Even though that acreage was part of the purchase, it was actually excluded because that future development didn't meet the terms of the state grant for conserved natural open space. So it may only be 101 acres or whatever, but either way, it's a significant, lovely piece of property. It has some of the nicest woodlands that I've seen in the area, and it's just lovely that there's this trail network that only needed a little bit of TLC to bring it back.
There was a plan at one point in time when we lost well too, and we had to put in the new storage tank on Prospect Hill to also do one for Hunsley Hill also. And that's where that right-of-way thing came from, that idea came from. Unfortunately, town meeting only voted the one tank and not the two, so we wound up with the one
In
tank.
fact, if you look closely at that trail map, you can see that there is a red dashed line near where the power line intersects with Haverhill Street and
Yes.
extending up the
Yep.
hill to a rectangular
Black,
area,
yeah.
or excuse me, a square area.
Square at the top of the hill. So,
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe we've used any LTA hours this fiscal year. We're at the end of November. Can you remember, Mr. Snow? I don't think.
We did, we
Something
used
with the-
something just about in June, I think, or May.
Well, that would be the prior fiscal year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah.
I'm speaking about this fiscal year. I believe they're allotted on a
That's right.
fiscal year basis, not calendar year.
I don't understand this, you know,
The work isn't,
It may not be an issue, but we need to know,
Yeah.
what the criteria is so we can appropriately apply and have a good relationship.
yes.
and it wouldn't, there's not that much work involved here because they have this already. Would
Right.
it be prudent for the board this evening to take a vote to request the LTA hours so that when you do make contact with MVPC, the director, explain to him that the board has requested, and if we could get sort of an accounting of how many hours we have, what is the cost value of those hours? I don't know, I haven't seen anything come out of MVPC showing any type of scale on the level of work and if it's being tied to a specific task and a value and cost. But if we have that approval this evening, at least if they say okay, then
We can go forward.
you can use your judgment if it's gonna be an exorbitant
guess
amount
is-
of LTA hours out of our allotment. Maybe we need to revisit it next week.
My guess is, Brent, they'll probably just have some guy with a portable GPS system and map it that way, walk the trails and take the various points.
Well, Okay, and so I asked about that because, not that I'm advertising a specific product, and yes, I am a stockholder. My iPhone does have the capabilities of pulling down GPS coordinates, so I offered that if they were able to work with that I could simply go up and record
right.
a number of different waypoints and
Yeah.
provide that to them. I mean, yes, that would certainly boost the time involved with the project if they needed to send someone out with a GPS to
Right.
take those readings, but I don't know whether that level of expertise needs to be harnessed
Okay.
for putting the trail on the map, but, you know, here again, I seek their assistance and guidance in regards to specific criteria.
Right, exactly. And I'm thinking if that's the case, then we're getting into the winter season. It may not be feasible to get it done before we get the spring thaw. Because if we get snow in those trails,
Mhm.
you're probably not gonna be able to find them very well, and it's not gonna be easy walking either.
Well, actually, au contraire. The Commission did provide me with, I do have in my equipment roster some snowshoes. And
No shoes, okay. Just make sure you take your
and
phone
my-
with you.
And because the guy putting up the trail markers is 6'3" in height, I can assure you, they are all at about 6.5 feet. So we
Okay,
have to
so-
get snow like Buffalo just.
I'm gonna say, as long as we're not in Buffalo, we'll be all set then, I guess. Okay, no, that's fine.
Brian, how's this? I'll call Gerard tomorrow, okay? And then I'll be in touch with you sometime late morning, okay?
In the meantime, I think we should take the vote, as the administrator suggested. That way, we got it in our pocket.
Mhm.
We don't have to act on it if we don't have to. At least it'll be there if we need to.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, could we also, maybe in that letter, ask them what the new policy is going forward, if they,
Well,
I mean, see what Bob says, but I mean, leave it open that if they don't,
let me speak to the director tomorrow,
My guess
okay?
is, Dave, that they probably have been talking about this,
Yeah,
but they haven't, if Bob doesn't remember acting on it at a meeting, that they probably haven't got to that point yet. They haven't brought it before a meeting for a vote. So they're just giving us a heads up that this may be coming down the road.
Right. Well, it would be a shame, though, not to see fruition of this.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
just-
I think we should do the map one way or the other, even if we gotta. come up
Yeah,
with some other
especially
funds.
with the network being.
Even if
Yes.
we use the iPhone.
Right.
We'll give them gas money.
I got one question too, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
On the open space plan, it mentions the fact that Hunsley Hill Water, we can't put a tank up there if that land was bought with self-help funds. Was it bought with self-help funds?
Well, that's why I just made the mention about the acreage. No, the acreage devoted to the easement for potential siting of the tank was not bought with the self-help funds.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned the 104 acre
Right.
figure may actually need to just reflect the 100.
So if we ever had to put a water tower up there, that would not
Yes,
be a problem?
yes, that is
Okay.
correct. That,
Thank you.
they were very foresightful at the time. They
So I guess we need,
consummated
and
it.
that's to be part of the open space plan, that needs to be clearly delineated to them.
And that's one of their
So-
points, I believe, if
Yeah.
I read it right.
Well, yeah, they
Right.
brought it, that they mentioned it, and I was just
Right.
curious if there was a conflict or not.
Well, that's the same department.
On the master
It's the
plan-
same department that approved that agreement, so they just
Okay.
don't remember it from 2001 or whatever.
Brent, on the master plan, was it a second tank on Prospect, or was it at Hunsley?
Hunsley was the second.
Was the
tank.
second tank?
It's always been Prospect, because there was a tank there already, and the piping
Right.
and everything was there. So they wanted to go up the hill a little bit further, but they also had the idea if they could put a second tank in over on
On
that side of
Hunsley.
Route 1.
Okay.
It would be more beneficial for that end of town.
Okay.
So, but it just, like I said, the town meeting just didn't vote it. They actually asked for it, and the town meeting voted it down. So,
I'll give you, if we get a motion, I'll give you a motion to send a letter after we see what Bob comes up with for information, if the letter is needed.
okay.
I'll second
Determine the
that.
hours.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do you have any other things for us tonight?
No, not at this time, but I'm working on a few things.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the board's support. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, then I will
Enjoy the
be in
holidays.
touch with you tomorrow. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay. So now we go down to new business number 2. And new business number 2 is discuss FY15 state budget cuts. And I gotta tell you, we are astonished that our governor is proposing to cut education and municipal accounts by $40 million and unrestricted local aid by $25.5 million to close a deficit in the state budget. Reports are the state is facing a $329 million shortfall. Why is there such a huge deficit in the state budget? The economy is improving. The state has a rainy day fund to tap into. Why is he targeting municipal accounts to close this gap? According to the MMA, the governor is planning to cut regional and vocational school transportation, special education reimbursements, Chapter 70 pothole aid account, public school, military migration grants, charter school reimbursements, kindergarten expansion grants, and library aid. Above that, he also wants to go to the legislature and cut another $25.5 million from unrestricted aid to cities and towns. How are we going to survive? This is appalling. If the state budget has a deficit, the governor should be looking to make cuts in his budget. If we had a deficit, we'd be making cuts in our budget.
Absolutely.
Why is the state filling positions when there is a deficit? I think that's a good question. We need to ask that. We need to send a letter to Senator Tarr and to Representative Hill expressing our outrage that the mistakes made by the state at the state level are being made on the backs of cities and towns and ultimately our taxpayers. We need to ask our legislative delegation for the specific reasons as to why there is a deficit in the budget. There is a lot in the media about what he plans to cut, yet there is not enough discussion on what led to this huge deficit when we are not even halfway through the fiscal year. I would like to ask the board to call for a motion to send these letters to our representative and senator.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
It's always been my opinion, personally, that the governor has never been a friend of education and has made many cuts in the past and has not and has done his best to cut the education funding for the 8 years he's been in office. And I think this just goes to show that what his modus operandi is, that it's appalling. It truly is.
I don't think the governor has been a friend of the small cities and towns of the Commonwealth.
I agree with you.
That's true, too.
I agree
It's,
with you.
I mean, the money has gone to large cities, okay, and it's, and I think the chairman's comments about this being appalling is absolutely true. And I think this letter needs to be strongly worded, you know.
I agree.
And,
I agree.
and here's the governor leaving office with this mess.
Yep,
And
it's
this is a
unbelievable.
mess.
It's unbelievable.
It
It's
is.
just unbelievable. I mean, none of this came out until after the election.
Right.
It's just, we were led down a rosy path, and to be honest with you, I'm disgusted with it. Why
And-
come after us? It's just not fair.
And this ought to follow the governor wherever he goes, his legacy.
I think the point is too, over the years, when they cut drastic cuts a few years back, we've never reached back to the level we were at
No.
before they cut years ago. And it's easy for them to make the cuts to local aid and school budgets because then we're the ones, and the school committee's the ones that have to come up with what actual services, and we get hit in the back of the head with taxpayers and parents. And it's just, you know, they kind of walk off and say, we balance the budget. And I'm, like you guys, I'm concerned that, you know, with the economy improving, the last thing we thought we would see this year is overspending at the state level to the point where they're running a deficit. So I think it's important that we make our points known.
And the
And the
governor,
taxpayers know that are watching us that, you know, we're concerned, and it's, hopefully, if these cuts go through, we may well have to cut some services, and I'm sure the school's gonna get hit in the back of the head, because every year we go through this budget process and we account for every nickel and dime, and It's a shame to see at the state level that they apparently are making unrealistic estimates, I guess, on what their revenue is and what the cost of programs are, and it's a shame that we have to go through this every year at about this time.
Exactly. I mean, the perfect example is transportation, school bus transportation. The districts, the regional districts are supposed to be funded 100%. They have never been funded 100%.
Oh, they've worked hard to, I know.
To bring it up.
To bring it back up to a reasonable level, and every year it's a huge issue, and it's finally brought back up, and then all of a sudden.
Now we're gonna cut it
They're
again.
gonna cut it back to whatever level they're gonna cut it back to. So, same thing with special ed, that's a huge burden on every school district in the
Yep.
state.
Yep.
And it should be a statewide funding, because these kids and these families move from town to town, and you know, you can get hit with a couple $100,000 bill for a special education child, because they move from another town into this town, or one of our kids moves from this town to another one of those towns. So it should be something that we deal with on a statewide level and supplement with our own funds. But, you know, it's the same programs every year that when there's a problem, they come to us and cut our budgets and school budgets, and
Yeah.
you know, they promise and promise and promise, and then
And they walk away from
They
us.
walk away.
And then we're pitted against the school, and the school is pitted against us. And this is not right, the way they do this. And again, Bob, absolutely appalling, it is.
It is.
And they
There's
need
no
a,
question
you know,
about it.
a strongly worded letter from us.
Yep.
and it's not just the governor, it's the legislature, as far as the other ones that come up with these budgets.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
a combination of the two that put these things together, and then they point fingers at each other when it comes time to make the cuts. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, we're just stuck here dangling on a long string. Especially halfway through the year, you're already, half your budget's gone. So
Gone.
now,
Yep.
these cuts are twice as hard, because you're trying to make cuts in a half year that should have been spread over the whole year, the whole 12-month period. So
Right.
If you're in the private sector and you mismanage like this, they'd fire you.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, I think we ought to include in our letters the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to send the letter.
I gave you that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. We will send out the letter. The next agenda item is minutes for September 8th, 2014.
I was absent, so I'll have to abstain from this.
Yes, you were absent and Jack was absent.
Yep.
So I think we had this on our last meeting, we couldn't vote on it because Dave wasn't here,
Yes.
so.
yeah, I'll give you the motion to accept.
Okay, motion made,
I'll second that.
and made and seconded. All those in favor of the September 8th minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
3 ayes and 2 abstentions. And the September 22nd minutes, I believe everybody was here for that one.
No.
No? Somebody missing?
Robert Snow, absent.
Abstain.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to read them?
Yeah.
Yep. I'll make a motion, we accept the September 22nd as printed.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the minutes are done.
Just as an aside, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to commend our staff in the office here. The minutes they produce, they do a wonderful job. They're very complete. I think we rarely ever have a correction. And they deserve a
Basically,
pat on the
Dave, you're
back for the work they do and the time they put into.
You're absolutely,
Make these.
you're absolutely correct, and you know, it's,
We don't have to give people recognition, but it's well
well,
deserved.
you know, Amy sits there at
Amongst
that
the other
typewriter
things
and
they
types
do.
away like crazy. I mean, I come in once in a while and she's going at it, making those minutes up, so put them
So we
together.
thank you very much for the, and I'm
Yes.
sure Doreen is involved too, so.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
both of you, and all three of you really put your heads together to make them work.
Make them work, and we really do have good minutes.
Yep.
There's no question about
Got a
that.
great staff.
Yep, you've got great staff, is right.
Excellent staff.
Okay, announcements. Rowley Community Blood Drive, Tuesday, November 25th, which is tomorrow, from 2 to 7 p.m. Rowley Veterans Association on Bradford Street, AKA VFW.
Can I just back that up, Mr. Chairman, with that? I know it's a tough time, people are traveling and the holidays, but you got situations like Buffalo where they got snowed in, I'm sure there's gonna be a huge shortage of blood over and above what there usually is for the holidays, so that anybody out there watching that is willing to give tomorrow 2 to 7, I believe you said.
Yep.
Please give, because they're
2 to 7
badly in
p.m.
need of blood, and it's a good cause for
Yeah.
just a short period of time for people that can give.
Okay. Marine Corps Reserves, Toys for Tots, drop-off box located at Town Hall. We have a toy box here again this year, and encourage the residents to, when they're out Christmas shopping, to pick up a child's Christmas toy, unwrapped, and drop it off at the Town Hall in the Toys for Tot box. Flu shots are available to Rowley residents on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Town Hall Annex. Contact the Council on Aging or the Health Department for more information. Library events, landscapes, oil painter Priscilla Seraphin. Work is on display during the months of October and November. Household Hazardous Waste Day collection.
I'm sorry, that should have been taken.
That
off.
was last Saturday.
That was last Saturday.
Last week.
Okay, so we will.
They had a big turnout.
Well, that's
Yes.
good. They always do, Bob. It's
Yeah.
really rewarding to get down there and see the line going all the way up Independence
And
Street.
the health
knowing-
department
But I
and
talked to- I
the
talked
highway
to,
department, they do a great job in putting that all together.
Yep,
I talked to Susan Elwell, she said it was one of the biggest turnouts they've had,
good.
so,
It's nice to know that that stuff is going to the right place.
yes.
Yes.
Yep, it really is. The town has the following vacancies: fence viewer, 3 positions; wood, lumber, and bark inspector, and zoning board of appeals associates, 2 open seats; historical commission, historic district commission, 3 seats; parks and recreation committee, 2 seats. And for more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 948-2372. And the Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations, particularly this time of year. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
They were in need of many items. I had talked to the ladies the other day in charge of the pantry. So if you have anything at home, you can give to the food pantry. They're really in need at this time.
Okay.
I was hoping they'd call over and give us a list, but I'll see if I can get a list
See if
from
you can get a list from them, that'd be good.
the next Monday night.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes care of the regular meeting, and we do have an executive session for tonight to consider the purchase and value of real property. And I will ask for a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase and value of real estate, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiation permission of the town, and to not return to open session. I need somebody to make a motion, and once it is seconded, it'll be a roll call vote.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded by roll call vote to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by roll call.
Hi, Jack Cook.
Robert Snow.
Hi, Robert Mary.
Aye, Joe Perry.
Hi, Dave Peters.